It is, definitely.
Awesome.
Where are you? It looks beautiful where you are.
In Pinelands.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm sitting in the perfect spot in the house where all the sun comes in.
Well, I may as well just announce I'm in my bed.
That sounds perfectly perfect.
It's more comfortable.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm going to mute myself again. Oh.
You're going to what?
Oh, no, carry on. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I've never had a Zoom anything before, and I don't know. I've just not met anybody actually on this group. So, yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know why I'm here.
Cool. Yeah, you'll probably find that you're going to be using it quite a bit more now because there's a lot on offer on this
Okay,
format.
great.
It's pretty awesome.
Great.
Yeah, and now that you know how it all works and stuff.
Yeah. So does everybody on this group know each other?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you. I haven't met Anita either, and yeah, I don't know anyone as yet. So yeah,
Okay.
we'll see. But
Okay.
we'll know each other after this.
Yeah, definitely. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
We're just setting everything up. Anita, you got your hand up. Do you need something?
No, I just wanted to say hi. I'm here.
Oh.
Cool.
Oh, great.
So we got Anita in Pretoria, and Kay in Pinelands, and Leslie in Fishhook, and Ian. Where are you, Ian? Ian's gone. Okay. So can you all see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just see. I'm just setting everything up. We'll leave it a couple of minutes. Who just joined? Did somebody else just join? No.
No.
Okay. So what's the lockdown like in Cape Town?
It's
Quiet. Restrictive.
Okay.
I think it's been good.
David?
I'm in Johannesburg.
Oh, okay.
I think it's been really good. I feel like we've got it so easy I feel that I have it so easy with being in a house with a garden and stuff. It doesn't feel very restrictive, but we're trying to limit our expeditions to the shops as much as possible. Yeah. And you? How's it going for you?
Me, I'm loving it. I can just
Oh, yeah.
I can just sit at work and work the whole day. Hello, Dylan. Dylan and Brent. Cool. People are starting to come on the call. That's good. Hello, Dylan. Dylan, can you hear me? It's Gwen.
Hello.
Hey, Gwen.
Hi. Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's fine. We'll just give it a couple more minutes for people to come on. Dylan, can you hear me? Dylan, you are muted. Can you hear us? Can everyone else hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave.
All right. So it's just there's something up with Dylan's computer then. Turn your volume
I'll
up.
WhatsApp him quickly, Dave.
Hey? Yeah.
Okay. WhatsApp Dylan quickly.
All right. Isn't technology amazing?
Can you hear us, Dave?
Yes, hello Dylan, welcome.
Woo.
Can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Hi, Dylan.
Oh, God.
Your volume up. Okay, so let's start. We'll see where we go. Can you hear us, Dylan? No. Okay. So welcome everyone. We're here at the peer recovery specialist training. Yeah, some etiquette around Zoom. If there's a lot of background noise in where you are, please just mute yourselves and then come on when you need to speak. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go for 4 days. We're going to meet this time on this link at the same time every day until Thursday. And we're going to be covering the coaching conversation, which we'll be doing today. Tomorrow we'll be covering the continuum. Wednesday we'll be covering the system. And Thursday we'll be talking about where to from here. Okay, can you hear us now, Dylan? Yes? I hope he said yes.
Yes, I can hear you. My earphones were plugged in like a real tit. I forgot to unplug them.
I thought so. Okay.
You thought I was a real tit?
No, I thought it was something to do with
I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go for 4 days. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how coaching can help people moving from a culture of addiction to a culture of recovery. Yeah. But before we do that, we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. There's Kevin. Hello,
Yes.
Kevin. How
Hello,
nice.
David.
Cool.
I've got to get a cool backdrop like that.
It's quite-
Kevin Rudham, I'm a relationship coach. Know David from Mankind Work. Really looking forward to this. Just see how I can be of help and service around this time and going forward. In with that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Gwen?
I don't know what to say. I'm Gwen. I'm a trustee for UACT, and I've been involved with it for some time. By profession, I'm a copy editor. Kevin, you know me. I'm friendly with Helen. I met you at Harriet's party. You remember? I remember you from as Kevin and Helen are both former colleagues of mine. I'm a copy editor by profession and working from home. So yeah.
Great stuff. Leslie?
Hi. Last year I started the Heart Project, and for the past year I've been doing healing and expressive art with homeless people. And everything I do comes from my own experience and journey through trauma and nearly ending up on the street myself, and mired in addiction of all sorts myself as well. So I just really want to present something alternative, because to me, we're not one size fits all kind of people, and what worked for me was alternative therapies and modalities. So this is very interesting for me though, and I look forward to learning.
Great. Brent?
Hi, everybody. My name is Brent. I'm grateful to be on this platform. I have been I went to recovery at the Foundation Clinic, and I stayed in the halfway house there for 8 months. I pretty much love the UACT program. I'm keen to learn more and to become a qualified coach and to be working with the addicts, especially their families, because I believe in the family space, it's very much not understood.
Thank you. Dylan.
Hi everyone, my name is Dylan. I am a chef by experience and restaurateur. Been in recovery for about 3 years, been clean for about 2, and loving the way coaching works. It's helped me learn a lot about myself, and I want to extend that to help others. And I've got Nicholas with me, who's joining in today.
How's it, everyone?
Hello, Nicholas. You want to check in?
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I'm frustrated because I failed my exams today, but that's why I'm joining the meeting, just to forget about it. Thank you.
Okay. Anita.
Hi everybody. Yes, also recovered addict about 6 years ago, and then also like Leslie said, I've turned to alternative medicine, and we have been part of the ibogaine plant medicine, which is the only psychoactive plant medicine which is legal and registered in South Africa as a Schedule 6 medicine for the last 6 years, with a success rate with addiction with 60 to 70% success rate, working with this plant medicine during a rapid detox of 48 hours. But it is together very much with very intense ibogaine counseling.
It's very wet.
Mute yourselves if you're not speaking, please. Carry on, Anita.
Yes, so together with pre and post ibogaine counseling, as I think it was Brent also said, that the family is a very important part, because no addict is just an island on their own. But with this ibogaine plant medicine, it is really jumping ahead of an addict's recovery of, say, a few weeks to a few days. And I don't know how we can be part of this organization or platform or anything, but in this time that we've got on our hands, we are still able to supply people with medicine. And yeah, I'm open for suggestions and learning new ways of helping and assisting humanity one by one or a few at a time. So we're here to help and assist.
Thank you. Kay.
And you?
Hi, yes, hi everybody. It's just interesting to hear everybody else's stories. I think I found myself working with Sanctuary at Africa Burn for this very reason, because I had a partner who was an addict some years back, and unfortunately he lost that battle. And I think what you're saying about families being so important and so critical in the role that they play really hit home for me, because that's exactly it. I felt so useless and helpless in that situation. But more recently, I've been working with Working Wednesdays, which is linked to the Ops Pasta Kitchen. And we hold 2-hour sessions every Wednesday in Ops for the homeless. And more recently, we had an addict. He's addicted to heroin, and he was really struggling to get off. And I didn't really feel equipped to help him or to know exactly even which direction to point him in. I know he's getting some support, but I just felt useless again. So I think it's a matter of being in the right place today and joining you guys for this workshop. So thank you for that.
Cool. John T.
Hey everybody, I'm checking in, really grateful to see some of my good friends here. I'm not going to be staying for the training because I've done the training, but I just wanted to welcome you all. And I really hope that you're going to find exactly what I found when I attended training with David. David is a very old friend of mine who, unfortunately, we go back as far as high school. We also go back to using and active addiction. And he's been an integral part of my journey. There's a lot of you here that have been an integral part of my journey, and I'm just really happy to see you here. And I hope that you get what you're looking for. And I love you all. Bye.
Thanks, Jonty. Kimon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, how's it everyone? My name's Kimon. Yeah, so very much like Kay, I find myself working with the community. I'm at the OBS Pasta Kitchen, and I'm at Working Wednesdays where we help the community. And obviously a lot of the guys that are on the streets have substance abuse disorders. And yeah, I just want to learn more about how to help. I've myself try to personally, financially support recovering substance abuse users. And yeah, I just, I said to Jonty a while ago, he's going to have to teach me everything because, yeah, I don't know much. Personally, in my family, we have an aunt that has a long time substance abuse issue. So it's very close to home for me. And yeah, I just want to just support in the best way possible. I use a lot of techniques of mindfulness, meditation already, and I just think to know the best way forward. Also, the most current thinking. I think it's also to know what's the current thinking. Thanks so much.
Cool. All right. So has everyone checked in? Okay. So the first thing we do in coaching is we create the container. We create the container by checking in, which is just what we've done now. And then we contract, and we speak to the client or whoever we're coaching around two things: around one, time for how long the session is going to be and over how long. So we might be meeting for an hour over 6 weeks, once a week, and that the cost will be 700 Rand an hour or whatever. What we're doing here is this is a free introductory training, basically because the shit's hit the fan, and we're going to go for 4 days. We're going to meet for 3 hours a day. There's going to be 2 hours of class, and then in the last hour, you're going to go into breakout rooms and practice what's being taught, if you want to. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay. So, yeah, the reason that we're doing this is because, let me just share my screen. Okay, can everyone see this? Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is culture. Yeah, why are we doing this? And we're creating a culture of learning here. Yeah. And a culture of learning is you go somewhere, you go to school and you learn about stuff, and eventually you graduate or matriculate or whatever it's called nowadays. And we're going to learn about a culture of addiction. What is a culture of addiction? And a culture of addiction is where someone continues a behavior in spite of the negative consequences. They then hit crisis, and our job is to work with them into moving towards a culture of recovery. Does that make sense? Yeah. So leaders in organizations use coaching to shift culture. Leaders in organizations manage the culture of the environment to deliver on the strategy of the organization and to return shareholder value. That's typically how organizations work. Now, we've taken those same principles from there and applied it to the culture of addiction so we can work with a client to support them in moving towards a culture of recovery. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. We are not doctors. We do not provide treatment. Yeah? We work in the space of wellness. Yeah? And our job is to kind of work with our clients and try and get them to a culture of recovery as quickly as possible and as economically as possible and as what's the word I'm looking for? As culturally as acceptable, I guess is the the word that I'm looking for. So whatever recovery looks like for the client, so whatever the client decides recovery is for them. I'm just going to come back to the classroom. So the client is going to be deciding what recovery looks like for them. So a lot of people have an opinion about what recovery is for that individual. Does that make sense? So we believe in multiple pathways to recovery. We believe that recovery comes from the client. The client decides what recovery is for them. And we understand as recovery is to be a learning process where the person recovers back, retrieves back what their addiction took away. So it might have taken away their finances, might have taken away their family, might have taken away their dignity, might have taken away their humanness. And recovery, from our perspective, is what the client starts to regain. Does that make sense? We're looking to have a conversation with our clients where they get empowered to find recovery capital for them. Now, recovery capital is the internal resources and external resources available to somebody when they want to move from a culture of addiction to a culture of recovery. Okay? Questions, please. Come on, Dylan, I can see you're boiling on a question there.
David?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you've just said is quite a mouthful. Would you please be so kind as to repeat your last two sentences? If you would be so kind.
Okay.
To find with the internal.
So recovery capital.
Yes.
Recovery capital is the internal and external resources available to someone when they want to move from a culture of addiction to a culture of recovery. So what are internal resources?
Well, I suppose it is first and foremost the very close by and intimate environment that they are in.
Okay, so the environment is an external resource. An internal resource would be like there's a willingness to change. There's a willingness to shift. There's an intellect to be able to shift. There's an understanding. There's a comprehension. There's I guess hope. Yeah, and an external resource is something outside of oneself. So I can go off to treatment, and I can get detoxed in treatment, and then I leave the treatment center, and it's very easy for me to stay sober in a treatment center. But when I go back to my environment, the environment that I'm in drives me back to the addictive behavior because I don't know how to survive in the environment. So, for example, I'm homeless, I'm living on the street. You'd also use because life is so traumatic being on the street. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they go off to treatment and they go back to the same society that caused the addictive behavior in the first place. Yeah. And then society judges people when they return to the behavior again, where there's a relapse or people start using again, and then, you know, society goes and shames and judges them. Okay, so what we're really dealing here with is a stigma-based condition around mental health, which is a systemic problem which impacts not only the individual, but the family members and society around them. Does that make sense?
Yes. I've got a question.
Good.
So, somebody has been in addiction, say, for the last 20 years.
Yes.
They do not have much of a reality of even who they are in themselves. And I mean, we've all got hobbies and things. I mean, if one is on the, I don't like the words the straight and the narrow, but if one is not in the course of addiction, one have got a diverse desire for opening up your mind for talents and activities. And I also believe a very big reason for addiction is boredom and not enough stimulation. And then how to motivate these people to occupy themselves away from boredom.
So what's the question?
Okay,
That's
so when one is dealing with an addict in recovery, so they are, say, for some time clean, but to actually motivate them to fill their days in different ways, instead of, say, addiction, but how do they fill their days, their time?
Okay. So how would you answer that question?
You're a very good teacher, David. It's not answering the question, but posing the question back. Yes. Oh, that's why I asked the question.
So in terms of the,
how
go
to
on.
be out and to have an inquiring mind. How do you spark that and guide them in such a way?
Okay. So this is a perfect scenario for a coaching conversation with somebody. Yeah. So just in terms of political correctness, yeah, some people get offended by using the word addict. Yeah. The politically correct word is someone that's had substance use disorder. However, me personally, having lived experience with addiction, I'll call myself an addict, a junkie, a pill popper, a crackhead, whatever. So for me, I feel comfortable with that. But just to bring some awareness that we're fighting a stigma-based illness that is systemic. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that to the container. But your scenario is a perfect example to have a coaching conversation with someone. Like, so you've been using for 20 years, or you've spent all your time focused on your addiction, and you seem to be relapsing because it gives you something to do. What else excites you? What could you do? What would you like to do? Yeah. And just then to start to explore and ask questions, ask powerful questions that get the client to start thinking what kind of life they want to live. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's a great coaching conversation. But a lot of people just kind of also just don't have the apathy, yeah, to go off and to don't have the motivation. And what happens is everyone else around them ends up doing the work to try and get them motivated to life. Yeah. So the conversation will start with something like, what must I do? Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Help me, please. And then the listener gets caught up in the anxiety of it and tries to come up with a solution for the client. What we would say as coaches, as recovery coaches, is, well, what the hell do you want to do? What would you like to do? What excites you? Yeah. And then just to try and hold that space for the client to actually and get curious about what it is that they want to do. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Just go back to the screen. Remember, mute your phones if you're not talking. All right. So we've spoken about culture. Now let's speak about. I'm just going to mute. Who's not on mute? Who's not on mute?
It's Timothy.
Who's Timothy? Who's Timothy? Okay. All right. Can you all still hear me? Okay, so let's talk about Ubuntu. What is Ubuntu? So for me, I'm taking a long time to still understand what the spirit of Ubuntu is. There's all sorts of sayings that go that like, I am because of you, takes a village to raise a child, all these sorts of things. But there was a story I heard when I was traveling in Australia, actually. But this person spoke about the spirit of Ubuntu, that there was an anthropologist that came to Africa to study African culture. And he said to all these kids, the first kid to get to the tree there can get a bag of sweets. And then all the kids held hands and they all ran together and they all arrived at the tree at the same time. And the anthropologist kind of looked at them and said, well, why did you do that? And then the kids said, well, why wouldn't you do that? To have the, why couldn't everyone get the sweets? You know, it would feel bad if only one person got them. And that gives me a slight glimpse into what it is. And what we're doing here is we don't want to leave any man, woman, or child behind to receive the gifts of recovery. So we're kind of giving this away just because of the crisis that's happening. And the work is held in a trust. It's held in the Ubuntu Addiction Community Trust, which is a public benefit organization here in South Africa. Yeah. And out of this PBO, we have the UACT, the Ubuntu Academy of Coaching. And our job is to train people. It's quite hard to write on the screen. To empower people so they can go off and then provide treatment. Yeah. And that's the aim of the trust. And that's what Gwen is on this call. She's one of the trustees. Okay. And then above that, we have Pocket Rehab, which is in the States, which is the app, the whole Pocket Rehab community. And then we have Gwen, which is a global wellness education network. And then we have Calm Lion, which is, they're all three ventures, commercial ventures in the States, the UK and Australia. Okay. So that's the structure of the organization. Yeah. And what we do is we talk about coaching and how coaching can assist people in moving from I could read Dylan there. He
The
said
culture of addiction to the culture of recovery.
Cool. Okay, great. Cool. All right. So what's coaching? What is coaching? You get business coaching, life coaching, leadership coaching, sports coaching. What else?
Isn't it
Addiction
getting the,
coaching or recovery coaching?
Okay, so recovery coaching sits here. Yeah. All right. Keep going. I'm trying to see you all. Let me just stop the sharing for a second. I'll go back to the picture in a minute. Relationship coaching. Yeah. Kevin, what's relationship coaching?
It's helping, just being a facilitator to help people see the relationship itself as opposed to your individual self in the relationship. And for me, coaching is a way of getting into a conversation to try and take a client to where they want to be, you know, where they stated, where do you want to be and how are you going to get there?
Okay. What other coaches are there? And guys, when I ask a question, that's an opportunity to unmute.
I suppose any teacher is a coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we follow a certain principle for, like Kimon was saying, the mindfulness thing. So we have a spiritual master. That's kind of a coach in a way.
Okay. The difference between a coach and a teacher, though, is the teacher has the knowledge and the teacher passes that knowledge onto the student. In a coach-coachee relationship, the coachee has the knowledge, the coach helps the coachee come up with the solutions and to get there. So the coach knows nothing. The coachee has all the answers. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What's a sports coach?
A sports coach is somebody who is proficient in knowing the specific sport and somebody who trains and tries to get the best potential out of the people in his team so that they can compete at the best level they can.
Okay. So a sport coach supports the professional that's at the top of his game. Does that make sense? To try and stay there and get even better. But the sports coach doesn't necessarily have to be fit and healthy and a great football player themselves, if we were to take soccer. Does that make sense? So it's a supportive relationship to keep someone at their highest potential. Sorry, are we boring you, Nicholas? That was a hell of a yawn, mate. It's fine. And listen, if anyone gets bored, yeah, just let me know, and then we can just kind of shift the container around a bit. Yeah, because what you do as coaches is you dance in the moment and move with where the container's going. So it's not about me and doing a PowerPoint presentation, everyone kind of falls asleep and starts picking their noses and everything. Yeah, just let's keep this going. I'm here to learn from you all. Yeah, okay. So what have we learned so far? What are some of the things we've learned? Let's capture one learning and then nominate someone on the screen to tell us what they learned. We'll start with Leslie.
Hi. Okay. I really liked the bit you were talking about where addiction recovery is actually, it's the internal recovery of the self, but also has an external recovery of what people have lost, jobs, income, family relationships. That was quite profound for me, just that play on words that just was like a bit of an aha moment.
Good.
Yeah, really, that was quite profound for me anyway.
Thank
And also,
one thing's fine. Just nominate someone.
okay, I'll nominate Kay.
Thank you.
Hi there. I think just trying to think here what really stood out for me. I mean, I know it's quite recent, but what you said about the coach actually knowing nothing, but really just being a guide for the process, getting the person to think about what they really want, and bring that to the light so that they can start moving in that direction. So you're not really doing anything, as you said.
Great, thank you. Nominate someone.
Oops, Brent, please.
Okay. Let's say recovery coaching is using internal and external resources that the client uses to move from a culture of addiction to a culture of recovery.
Okay. Nominate someone. Nicholas, you can't go. We're coming to you, mate.
Dylan.
Dylan.
I like what we spoke about, the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because you are, and it's kind of like this culture of we can get to this through this together, and we don't have to do it alone. We don't have to suffer alone.
Okay.
Nick?
No, I'm just sitting in, so I'm fine. Thank you, Kevin. Or David.
That's fine. Okay, just nominate someone then.
I nominate Jonty, Auntie Jonty.
So yeah, I'm also just sitting in on the course, but the thing that really stands out for me and something that I always take into my work is the fact that I'm not here to treat people, I'm not here to fix people, repair people, advise people, or project for people. And I think that's a very important point that I just want to emphasize.
Say that again, Jonty.
I'm not here to fix, repair, advise, or project. I'm not here to treat people. I'm here to be in conversation with the clients.
Great stuff. Very important, that. Very important. Who are you nominating, Jonty?
I nominate Kiki.
No, hi. I just was battling to unmute. What stood out for me is in the beginning, just when we said that's how we open the container or we create the container. That stood out for me. But as you even said that, I felt like I was safe. Felt like I'm in this container. It's a safe space, and I think for me it stood out because there's, I think when you are in a position of trauma, stress, anger, you're feeling very nervous and anxious, and just to be able to feel that you're in a safe space, hearing anything personal from anybody, you feel that you immediately, the humanness, you can resonate. And yeah, so just, yeah, the creating the container, I really like that.
Cool. Who are you nominating, Kiki?
Okay, I'm gonna nominate, who has Brent been?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just like trying to see who has not gone yet. Okay, Anita.
There you go.
For me, very much what stood out for me also about when you said like you as a coach know nothing, and it is very much a space of holding safe space for the person in front of you, for ultimately making them feel safe in the process of where they are, with the utmost respect and compassion and no judgment, whether it's cultural or in whatever way it is, but to become almost like a non-entity of no ego, and just being a safe space and a reflection, and ultimately to guide and assist for the person in front of you into a positive moment in space, that you are sharing space, but also to make such an impact on the person because of your own experiences, that they will feel in a trustworthy position to continue such a relationship.
Wow, that's a hell of a learning. Okay. Who are you nominating? I think Kevin's available and Timothy's available. Who? Kevin.
Okay, so for me, the thing that stands out, and what everybody else has said, obviously, but I like that notion that the client decides what recovery looks like. Yeah, I really do like that. It's a reminder to myself not to project what my own notion of where they should be and judge what could easily feel like a judgment. If I'm suggesting something, then I'd ready to agree to. So I really like that.
Cool. Timothy.
I joined the meeting late, so I didn't manage to get much, but from what everyone said, what I managed to get was about the coach not being knowledgeable, but yeah, but it doesn't, not having the information, but the other person having the information. And yeah, but the maybe the misunderstanding that I have, or the question that I have or had, was the difference or the integration between a coach and a manager. What's the difference? Is the manager a coach, or is a coach a manager? As you gave the example of soccer, we have soccer managers who also are termed coaches. So what's the difference there?
Okay, so that's a nice question. A soccer manager, yeah, would have management skills, yeah, and he could have coaching skills as well. Yeah, and what we're trying to define here is what the role of a recovery coach is. So if you're an existing social worker, therapist, doctor, you've got a profession somewhere already, yeah, learning about how to engage as a coach would only enhance that profession. So managers that take on a coaching style relationship where they manage their teams can have a much better impact. Often managers can go around like, do this, do this, do this, do that, and they don't nurture the relationship with the people that they're managing. And that's why coaching is such an important skill in organizations. Because where leaders and management learn about coaching, it changes the culture of the organization. I hope that answered the question. But for the point of the whole point of this is that recovery coaching is coming from the business world. Yeah, it's not coming from the medical world. It's not coming from the world of pathology. It's coming from the world of wellness and performance, or positive psychology. Yeah, so we're always considering our clients to be well in spite of how they're showing up, which is quite a I don't want to say mind fuck, because that would mean I'll be swearing and this is being streamed. So I'm not going to say a mind fuck, but it really is. You know, it really, we're so used to kind of seeing people as being ill, and they're saying, what must we do? Yep. And then there's that pressure for us to come up with a solution. But we always consider our clients to be well, no matter what state they turn up in, unless their life's in real danger. Yeah, and then we refer to other professionals. So a good recovery coach has a good network of psychiatrists, social workers, therapists, mutual aid support groups, sponsors. A recovery coach or a peer recovery specialist understands the recovery capital available to that person. Yeah, so for example, maybe having a church congregation that is non-judgmental and stigmatizing, that kind of welcomes people in recovery. Yeah, to have mosques, yeah, Muslim communities that are accepting of people with mental illness. Yeah, you know, a compassionate doctor, a psychiatrist, you know, a priest. So you need to have a good understanding as a coach of what is available in your area, so you can have a conversation with your client, find out what they want, and then help signpost them to those resources. Is that making sense? Like the Wednesday Pasta Kitchen project. Yeah. You know, if I was in Cape Town, I was speaking to somebody and wanted to kind of, that would be a nice resource where the client can go and get a decent plate of food and interact with people that are behaving around a culture of recovery. God, feels like I said a lot there. Did I say too much? Don't say yes.
David, you said a lot, and it is very inspiring, and I've been making some notes, and yeah, very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about our platform quickly. Yeah. So this is our learning environment. So here we are now on the web. Yep. And we're streaming to Facebook pages. Yep. So that we can get this knowledge out there to as many people as possible. Yeah. People that then want to join our school can come onto our campus, which is a workplace platform, which is where we accredit coaches and train them. And we're a whole community of, we're like a closed corporation of people addressing training, empowering, and treatment. And that's a separate platform away from the web. Yeah. And our coaches go out and they find out what recovery capital is available in their area, so they can, through the Pocket Rehab app, support people.
We're just 50 minutes in, David.
Yeah, no, I know that. But like, do we get overwhelmed? Do you need to have a 5-minute break? Do you, yeah? So if you need to look after yourself, please look after yourself and come back and yeah, okay.
I'd like to.
So, yes, Gwen?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say one thing, add one thing that to me is important, that it's very important not to be prescriptive with a client and to take they will give you the clues you need about the resources that they want. And sometimes those resources are unexpected. They may clash with your own value system. That's something one has to keep in mind, that I've had to keep in mind, certainly. And sometimes the resources come from themselves. So, I mean, I just have a horror of telling a client, you know, or being too insistent on a client going to this support group or that support group or this church or that mosque or whatever. It all comes from them. And if you listen very carefully, if I listen very carefully, if I try to listen very carefully, the clues are there as to what that client really needs. So that one doesn't become a human yellow pages, one becomes you know, a human being sitting in front of a client and listening, picking up what they really would need and would like and what would be helpful to them in that moment. A lot of them contact people in times of great crisis when they either are about to have a relapse of symptoms or already have had a recurrence of symptoms, or when they're alone or they're frightened or they're panicking. For me, that's crucial. So, you know, one doesn't become an advocate for a particular resource.
Thank you, Gwen. Ken.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself. Sorry. The guys need me at the house. I'm standing manager and got to perform certain duties.
That's
and that's why I'm on and off.
All right.
Checking
So
out, grateful. Thank you for the platform and thank you for your energy today.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming. See you tomorrow. Maybe. All right. So here's what we want to cover today: how to have the coaching conversation. Yeah. So we spoke about checking in. What's happening here? We spoke about checking in, contracting to create the container. Yeah. And then we asked the client what they would like to be coached on today. And then we ask questions, open and closed questions, and then we listen. And we listen at levels 1, 2, and 3. Yeah? So the conversation goes like this. It's 3 C's. Yeah? The agenda, questions, listening. 1, 2, and 3. And that is the role of the coach. Our client then gives us needs, values, and purpose. Yeah. And then at the end of it, we ask the client to take action, and hopefully they'll come back, and then we check for accountability to see if the client is starting to move. So the coaching conversation gets created here. Does Does that make sense? Okay. So what we'll do now, yeah, did you all get that? That was very quick. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now.
Dave, could you just put it on for one more second, please?
Sure.
Yeah, a little too quick, David.
Yeah, I mean, you guys get all this stuff at the end. Okay, so I'll draw it again. Yeah, so it's the 3 C's. What are the 3 C's?
Check in, contract, contain.
Check in.
Check in, contract, container.
Great. Okay, and the A stands for?
Agenda.
Okay, and what type of questions do you get?
Open and closed.
Great. Open and closed. And what type of listening do you get?
1, 2, and 3 levels.
Great. All right. And that's what the coach is responsible for. The coach is responsible for that part of the conversation. What does the client bring?
Needs, values, and purpose.
Great. Cool. All right. And then at the end of the conversation,
Accountability.
Action. So you're always trying to forward the action and deepen the learning. Yep. And then it's accountability at the next session. So how did you do with your homework? Right. What's the most important thing of the first session?
Listening.
Get the client come back to you.
That's right. To get the client to come back for a second session. People usually laugh there. What's wrong with you lot? Bloody hell. Jeez.
Are we concentrating, Dave?
Hey?
We're concentrating.
Yeah, good.
I am laughing.
The face of laughter, Kevin. Beautiful. Jeez, I'd hate to see you when you're miserable. Okay. So listening is very important, but the most important thing is to get the client to come back for a second session. Yeah, because if you can't get the client to come back for the second session, then you lose the client. Does that make sense? And also we need to stay ethical to the coaching business by making sure that coaching is a short intervention. We don't keep our clients engaged for years and years and years. What can happen is you can recontract, yeah, once a client's reached a goal, and then start another engagement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas some people can see their therapist once a week for 20 years, you know. Personally, I'm interested in having a conversation that empowers our clients to transform them so that they can move on to live the life of meaning and purpose that they want to live. So if I go and tell a client that's using heroin, yeah, and get supportive of it and say, great, mate, how can you use more? Yes, wonderful life. Let's make you the best using heroin addict ever. All of a sudden they'll go, hang about, no, I don't think I want to do this. Yeah, but when you tell someone they can't do something the whole time, it's that already creates a desire. Like if your goal in life is to sit in your flat alone and drink yourself to death, go for it. But whenever I've confronted someone like that, they've always said, well, actually, it's not what I want. Yeah. But a lot of people don't want to stop drinking straight away. A lot of people want to do controlled drinking. And a lot of people go and try controlled drinking just to realize that they can't do controlled drinking, and then later decide that abstinence is important for them. Gwen, did you want to say something?
No, I'm laughing. I'm thinking of St. Augustine's prayer. Dear God, send me virtue and piety and control, but do not send it yet. so, so yeah.
Love you, Gwen.
Love you back. Love you.
Thank God someone's laughing in this container. Gee. Huh?
You told us to mute ourselves, Dave.
That's fine, but I mean, I can see your faces.
Is there anybody out there who thinks they can't do this? Because if there is, you're wrong. Good.
I think I'm born for it.
Okay.
Yes, so do I.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the stream, yeah, and because we've kind of covered the theory today, and then we'll do some practice coaching, and I'll answer more of your questions. Okay. So thank you everyone who's watched this stream. We'll be starting again next week if you want to join the class. Yeah.